Yeah, that's also what I wanted to talk about because the Minnesota Timberwolves are playing better than I anticipated. Luka looked fine physically. I will say definitely like towards the end of the game, he definitely looked more like Luka. But in the first half, dog, he was barely, he didn't even run. Like he was barely even sweating because he wasn't moving. Like he was cooked. And this is another thing. I don't know what the hell is going on with all of these like food poisoning or whatever the hell is going around. First it was B pods, now it's Luka. The biggest problem, Jaden McDaniels knows his game plan. He knows his role. There are plays where he is going directly at Jackson Hayes, but he even said in the post game, he realizes that as soon as Jackson Hayes is off the floor, he is essentially the tallest player that is going to be anywhere near the paint unless LeBron rotates over, something like that. But even then, he's not really the capable rim protector that someone like Jackson Hayes is. At least not at this point in his career. So he knows that the paint is free when Jackson Hayes is off the floor. So he's just taking advantage of that. And I feel like that's the difference now between this series and when he saw the Mavericks last season. And the problem is that even with Rudy Gobert and his offensive struggles, LeBron still does not want to leave this lob threat open. And now Julius is diving with, like, the paint is sweet. Like, this has been a majority of his offense in the series. And I feel like that's been the key against this Lakers defense, because I made a video towards the end of the season about how Minnesota is one of the they were one of the worst clutch teams in the regular season. And it's partially because teams would throw a zone at them and they wouldn't know what to do. But I feel like now, with Jaden McDaniels being able to attack, going downhill, that gives them another option that they maybe wouldn't have in some of those other matchups. So I think it's just like a Lakers specific thing at this point, because the Lakers have played a fair amount of zone so far in the series, but they're down 2-1 against a team that coming into the series, a lot of people said they don't know how to beat a zone. See, he's attacking downhill, and the only players he sees are Dorian Finney-Smith, who he's taller than, and Rui Hachimura, who is out of position.
Crossover, kicks it out. McDaniels three-pointer, puts it in.
Chat, those were his only points. That three at the end were his only points, not in the paint. Every other basket that he scored was in the paint. And it's also going to be interesting to see what the Timberwolves are going to do with Rudy Gobert, because he has been an offensive non-factor. They didn't close the game with him. They closed the game with Naz Reid. I thought Rudy was playing good defensively. I mean, yeah, he did have his moments, but I think that they wanted to prevent the Luka switch as much as possible, because it did seem like, as I said before, Luka was like starting to feel more like himself in the second half. I think the turning point was when Luka made this shot, because this was pretty much the point where Rudy got subbed out. But he did have his moments, but I think that the offense of Gobert is definitely going to be something to look at, because it's clear that they don't trust him offensively. There have been multiple times in this series where like he'll have deep positioning, but they just won't be looking for him, because I feel like they know that he's just not going to be able to catch the ball, or something along those lines. Closing out with Naz Reid, I feel like is definitely their way to go moving forward, just because of the offense that they are able to produce and the actual sets that they're able to run. Because you have the floor spacing from Naz Reid, you're basically able to play 5 out at that point, or at least 4 out, 1 in with Julius Randle. And it's passing. He definitely has been able to read the double teams a lot better in this series so far. Like he has this with the Julius Randle mismatch with Gabe Vincent, but like he can also make that skip to DiVincenzo. I feel like that's been his biggest attribute so far this series. Also having just Jaden McDaniels, like I said before, having Jaden McDaniels being able to attack closeouts like this has been huge. And there's Rudy Gobert calling for the ball, not getting it. So now they're trapping him again. Julius Randle wide open. Luka's in drop. I feel like that's the way to play it, but it's just Julius Randle is going to hit those sometimes. That's the pass where I was like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be an issue because if Ant is able to make this pass, that changes the entire dynamic of the offense, because they're gonna have to be collapsing on him the entire series because he's Anthony Edwards. Leaving Naz Reid open as a choice. Yeah, you have Laker fans talking about, bro, all these role players want to go off against us. I'm like, man, this ain't just a role player. This is Naz Reid. Actually, let me just look at his threes, because let me see how many of these are actually wide open. The Timberwolves have been getting a stupid amount of open shots this series.
Back out to Reid for three for the lead.
That's a deep three, but that's a shot that he makes all the time.
Back out to Reid for three. And not
wide open.
Floor on him. Randall on the drive.
Wide open.
To Reid, and then April. Found his groove at the right time. So did this.
Open. Oh, he's open. I see it.
Over to Reid. Catch and shoot three on the way. And he Randall. Reid, as we say.
That was contested. I'll give him that. And this is wide open. Nobody within 20 feet of him. And the next one is the LeBron closeout.
Double team finds Reid. Naz Reid, a three-pointer. Bang!
That was a whopping 1 contested three-point make. They've only attempted 5 contested threes the whole series. 5! Bro, what? They've attempted, 62 open threes. 62 open threes and 5 contested through the first 2 games. And I can tell you, Game 3 wasn't really any different. Lakers need a defensive-minded player. Maybe they should trade Luka for AD, a win-now move for the Lakers. I was actually curious. This is actually Luka's lowest scoring playoff game since 2020. This is his lowest scoring playoff game since he scored 13 in Game 3, the game where he literally got injured. Yeah, so here's the game. 13-point triple-double. This is when he left early for the ankle injury. He's had 19 in a blowout. He's had 19 in a blowout. Oh, no, he had 18. So 17 is still his lowest scoring game since Game 3 2020 against the Clippers. As I said, he was very clearly sick, and other like Dorian Finney-Smith, he was blown away that Luka was even able to finish the game because he looked like that bad at halftime. LeBron did everything he could to get the Lakers back into this game. Just wasn't enough. Now the Lakers, I do still think that obviously they have a chance to win the series. The margin for error is definitely shrinking. They're gonna have to figure out some sort of game plan for Jaden McDaniels now, because this is a second 20-point game in the series. He had 25, I think, in Game 1, and now he had 30 today. This is actually his playoff career high. I feel like this is more manageable because of where all of these shots are coming from. This is just a bad overplay. Like J-Mac is able to attack this, so you can't be overplaying passes like that, because now you just put your whole defense in rotation. And even if this doesn't end up in a Jaden McDaniels layup, this is going to end up in a Naz Reid open 3 again. So I feel like just being more disciplined is going to be a big point of emphasis. They're still going to be struggling with Ant dribble penetration, because Ant has really been able to figure out the reads this series so far, and he's also just not easy to stay in front of or slow down. This is concerning. If you're putting 2 on the ball with Ant, okay, you plug the roller, LeBron in the middle. If you have Jaden McDaniels who's able to attack this,
Edwards trying to draw a foul, gets to McDaniels. McDaniels off the bounce.
this is concerning. I'm not gonna lie. Jaden McDaniels being able to get into the paint like this is very concerning. I don't know. We'll see. We'll definitely see.